Hey Dana here. And it's a continuation of pulling the engine on this 96 Ford Mustang. So recap of yesterday. I did is I disconnected the linkage, disconnected the 4 plugs on here. I'm going to go ahead and pull the drive shaft today. And then, of course, yesterday I drained the fluid out of here, and I disconnected the cooling lines. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the drive shaft today. I'm going to go ahead and get my bolts. Most of the bolts loosen up, and then we're going to come in here and we're going to disconnect the torque converter from the flywheel. I'm going to hit those real quick, the rear mount bolts, get them loose. And then what we got to do is I've got to set this up so I can use the rack as my drop point. So, and then after I get to that stopping point, then I need to set the rack up so I'm supporting the transmission on it, and then get my 4 jack stands and set it up so I'm supporting the car on the 4x4s. And then once I get that, then I can go ahead and pull the transmission back, and now it'll be supported on the rack itself. Now I can drop the rack, leaving the car on the jack stands. Bring it down, then I can do what I need to do with the transmission, and then take the rack back up, so the vehicle is now back on the rack. And then I'll come back in, go ahead and disconnect the mounts on the engine itself. I'll go ahead and, we'll see where I'm at with the radiator. But that's the plan at the moment. So we'll go ahead and get the drive shaft disconnected. All right, here we are. Get that on there. I'm cheating. These puppies are, there we go. Tight. There. I've just done the 3. One on top. Ah. Suck. Gotta use a 12 point on that. Get enough to break it. Yep. Alright, great. What I used was the blaster on it. Alright, now I need to now I get my electric ratchet on it. No, God. We'll get it off of there. Go on there. Almost out. Beautiful. my head up there with the camera to see. Alright, there you go. And you're going to want to mark your shaft. That's the way you got it from. You keep it, everything is aligned as possible. There we go. I've got the transmission drain, so when I pull it out, I'm not going to have any fluid going all over the place. But let's go ahead and mark it so I know where it was. I can realign it with it, because when I pull it out, this is gonna rotate, of course, so your alignment's gonna be gone. Let's get this drive shaft dropped. We love it. Oh, there's rust. Oh man, all that freaking rust just a minute ago. Freaking beautiful, ain't it? Oh yeah. Alright, so that was the combination I used. Oh, come on, get off of there. That and the, what I said it was, a 13. Ow. $12 actually. 12. So let's put our bolts back in so we don't lose them. Alright, so drive shaft disconnected. This is what happens when vehicle sits for a long time. Especially up here in the rust. There's really nothing you can do. It's just nothing. Okay, so you get that marked and that marked. Let's see, let's make a combination. Let's go ahead and I'll mark that in the drive shaft. And that's solid like that. Transmission is solid. The trannies dropped. Alright, what are you gonna do? Alright, so that said, come on. You sitting in there good, huh? Alright. No, might just drop out. The rubber little balancer on here. Give me a hammer. Give it a little bit of persuasion. There she goes. A little bit of persuasion. She'll drop out. My drip pad on here just in case. I keep my floor clean. I should have put a sealant on it. I did it, but I didn't. Alright, drive shaft coming out. There she is. Oh, that beautiful rust. Hey, over here with the cat. Alright. How do those feel anyway? A little resistance. A little resistance. So there. We don't have a little resistance there. Not much there, but they're not loose. That's all that matters. They're, you know, they're flexing like they're supposed to be, but I mean, there's no, you can't twist back and forth. You can't do any twisting on it. If you could, then it needs to be replaced. And if I was motivated enough, I'd go ahead and change them out anyway, but I'm not that motivated. And now you'll be motivated enough to freaking drop the transmission. Alright. Do that after I get the bolts loose and the nuts pulled from the torque converter. Alright, so I had this bolt right here on the upper side here, which actually goes through and holds your dipstick. And that was a 15. It was a 15. I had to use extension with the universal. Got that, and now I can actually pull the dipstick out. Come on. Being held in there by a rubber boot. Really dirty. I don't want to get dirt in there. Because with that in the way, I can't get that other thing out of my way. Oh. Actually, somebody's actually used rubber silicone to hold that in. Okay. So it's not actually dirt. Alright, so let's still gotta get it out of there. There we go. Out it comes with the dipstick. So to put all that back in there when we go back together. Alright, so it came out like so. No, stay like that. No, crap. Bang, bang, bang. Can actually put a clean towel in the hole. It'll keep crap out of it. Like so. Nice. Okay. And then silicone sealant around it. Keep it out. Alright, so that's in there. Keeping crap out of there. Alright, next one I gotta get that one there. That is a 13. I think I can just, there you go, was on it. Yeah, alright. Extension back here. Get out of my face. Okay, I lost my battery on my Osmo. So, yeah, another bolt right there. That's a 15. 13. and then the one that was above it, that one there holds your dipstick. So I pulled the dipstick out. It was being held on in with silicone. Go ahead and put something in the hole. It'll keep dirt out of it. So let's see. I've got this one. I got one more surface one right here, and then there's another one up top. There's two up top that have to be removed. Okay. Now what I did, getting that bolt on top, you can see right on through there. See the bolt? There it is. I use my 3-foot extension, universal, and a 13. And I was able to go right up in there and get that. This side, on the other hand, is a little different, and I don't know why. But I'll give you the combination here in a second. Okay, with a combination of a short extension with a 13, which is what it was, and then I've got a little longer extension with a regular standard side extension and another extension. So through a combination of 3, that's like, probably use a deep at this point. And you're going to have to go in. I can bring this up a little bit. There's your bolt. So you got to go up over this lip right here of your transmission, and then bring it down here off of this corner here. So between this combination, they break it loose with your regular ratchet, and then use your electric ratchet to go the rest of the way. Okay, so that's it. That's all the bolts that hold this tranny. Oh, gotta pop those back and pop them back through. All right, so all the bolts are done. At the top, you got 3 on this side. 1, 2, one up on, way up on top. This one here, this one here, this one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. 1, 2, 3, and there's one way up on top. 4. And if you look in here, you're gonna see I got 3 bolts, and then you got one down here. This side here, 3 bolts, 1 nut. So there we are. Now, come over here, we'll rotate the flywheel, and that's going to bring the nuts around. I need to rotate the crank. You get your crank nut here, and then we'll rotate this around till we get those nuts. Okay, there you go. I just moved around. There's one nut right there, and then can actually go through the starter and then get another one. So you can go at 2 points, get two at the same time if you want. So by removing the starter, you can get them from there, or this actually has a panel that you can get it from. Okay, I'm on my last one. This is what I'm doing. I've got one more bolt here. You're gonna take your ratchet. What am I using here? Using a freaking 22. Putting it on the crank nut. Now I'm gonna rotate it. Let's see up in there. Kind of like 2 revolutions. Okay, there's your nut. It's the last one. 1/2 inch with a freaking extension on it. Now I'm gonna come back using my electric ratchet here. But first I need to break it. Make the nut is freaking tight. You're gonna want it rotating it, and then it's gonna lock up in there, and you'll be able to pull it tight or break it. And then I just use my electric ratchet. Take the rest of the way off. Here we go. Oh, and you just did it. There's a little lip there, so there we go. We got four nuts. You can tell now because when you rotate the shaft, you hear it clink. Go back the other way, clink. That means you're now released. That torque converter is now released from the flywheel. Okay, so that is it. We can now yank that. We can now yank the transmission back as soon as we get the cross member released. But to do that first, we're going to want to put something to support it across here before we do that. And that's where I'm at now. What I'm going to do is I got to bring it down. I got to take the wheels off of it, and then get it supported with the 4x4s. No, maybe I don't need to. I'm just going to bring we'll have to see how that sits here, because you got a lot of weight. Got the engine, got the engine out front, even though you got the rear back there, and then of course you got your front support. So it's definitely heavier in the front because you got the engine and everything. So this is going to be an experiment. It's the first time I've done it. Okay, one, put it here, and then I can drop everything down, take the wheels off of it, put my 4x4 across, get it stabilized with those, and then once it's stabilized on here, then I can go ahead and use that same stand that I used right here to hold this up back there where it belongs. Because you're not going to mess with the rear wheels on that. You're just going to put them on this one. Because what I want to do is I want to put it straight across here, straight right across, and there, and that's gonna support the engine up front here. All right, so that was that. It's getting the transmission disconnected. 4 bolts on one side, 4 bolts on the other. Getting the 4 nuts off the torque converter studs. I pulled the drive shaft today, and the only thing left is your cross member after I get it supported on the 4x4s. So I can use the lift as my lift for the transmission. I know I should buy me a transmission. All right, so good for now.